Storage can be extremely expensive, and it often comes out of a teacher's budget and not so much your classroom or your school budget, right? So it is super fun to look at those Pinterest or Instagram perfect classes where you've got brightly decorated classes with all of this beautiful material where they're storing everything. It looks great. But I want you to think about answering these questions for yourself. First of all, how expensive is it, and do you have the budget for it? Second, do you need to have a brightly colored everything? Because who does it benefit? Does it benefit your students? Because oftentimes research shows that if there's too much of brightly colored decor everywhere or storage things everywhere, it tends to actually overstimulate children. So is it really necessary? Who is it actually serving? Mostly it's serving the teachers. So in this case, I like to take a step back and look at what can we do on a bit of a minimalistic approach. So minimalistic class plus minimalistic budget. It helps you as a teacher, it helps your students as well. Now, if you've got a lot of money to spend, then by all means, please go ahead and do that. This article or this video is not for you. But if you want to work with a minimalistic approach, then this is for you. All right, let's get right into it. The first step is lesson planning. Yep, we've planned our lesson, we've photocopied all of our sheets. If you are a person who likes to think ahead, perhaps by a week, then this section is for you. What you could do is grab yourself a file organizer. And what the file organizer does essentially is if you've got photocopy materials, you could put it into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday slots. And then you're planned ahead. Also, if you've got kids who, often lose their sheets, you've already got extras in these slots, so you just grab and hand out. Now, if planning is not your thing, then you might want to check with the blog, because on the blog I actually have a free resource for you that's going to help you plan for at least a week ahead. And I will link to the blog in the description, all right? And it's at the very end of the blog post. Cool. So the next thing you're going to be looking at is additional work, right? So if you've got kids who you want to differentiate for, if you have children who are missing work, if you've got kids who are early finishers, if you have to hand out material, or if you have kids who you need to hand work, or not work, but even notices to you, but you just don't want them all coming to you all the time because it gets to be too much, especially in the morning. What you could do is grab yourself these banker boxes, and again, all of the things that I'm talking about, the storage things I'm talking about, I actually am listing it in the blog, and you'll see visuals of every one of them so you know which one will work for you. But these banker boxes are beautiful because you can just slot it in, and if you need more storage, just you could stack one on top of the other. They look very, very neat and chic, so it looks lovely. If you like the image, just click on it and it'll take you to a place where you can get yours as well. The third one, going ahead there, is reading material. Okay, so if you have reading material that you want to allow your children to read, for example, books like chapter books, you've got graphic novels, you've got books about sports, you've got nonfiction, you've got fiction, you've got mystery books, all the different books that you've got, instead of just putting them into like a library there, put them into file folder, into these magazine file folders, and you can write on them so kids know exactly what, if they want, say, sports, they can go and grab a sports book, and then they know exactly where to return it again. And so it's all nicely organized, it looks neat, it can be put on your shelves as well. Okay. The fourth one is shared items. So here, if you've got communal items for each of your students, like glue sticks or pens, then you can put this into different slots. Now, this also works for if you've got kids who drop their pencils or pens, then they can actually add that into these slots, and they can use it whenever they need a pencil or pen or glue stick or what have you that they're working with. I love it because I actually do use this in my room because it does not take up a lot of space. It does not have kids saying, "Oh, Ms. Lim, I need this," or "I lost this." It's, have you checked? Have you checked our lost and found spot? And they go and they just grab what they need and they're ready to go even when I'm teaching a lesson. Okay. The fifth one is makerspace or STEM, which is really important to be integrating creativity into your classroom. I've seen classes with these massive spaces where, uh, you know, there's all these things hanging up, but you don't need to have everything hanging up. If you want a nice little spot, then grab these little boxes where you can just kind of slot in little things like buttons or ribbons or little tinkering toys, and your kids can make their own little creations with this, and it's actually stackable too. So you could put them all into, if you need more items or as you get more items, you can stack one on top of the other. But they're little slots and they're see-through, so your kids can see what you're putting in there and they can grab what they want, and you don't ever have to label it because they can see it, and you can just kind of change it as you need to. So it takes up less space, it takes up less effort for you, and let's face it, all of this is nice, neat, and chic. So let's recap really quickly. We have looked at the importance of not overspending, but just getting some nice material, some beautiful looking material in your classroom that adds as storage but doesn't take up too much of your room. And we've looked at 5 different ways. One of them is for your learning or lesson planning. One of them is for any additional work that you might have. The other one is to organize your reading material. The fourth is your shared material, and the fifth is to organize your makerspace or STEM center. If you have any questions about any of these, please feel free to contact me. In the meantime, remember to create, experience, and teach from the heart. Take care, my friends.